that all the simonim which are written there seem to be occurring in our time. And therefore they indicate Hine Moshiach bo. That all indicates that Moshiach, here he is, coming. Meaning that he's coming right now, and he's coming in, as it were. Ayeshna hadgosha miyuchedes lokach b'chodesh or. That's every day. Every day you have to wait like that. Yeah, they say about I think we can mention a literature got also the Chabad Chaim. He was a very great man, by the way. They say the Chabad Chaim had a special suit and hat for Kabbalah's Panei Moshe, a special Yontif Tikka Bechish and everything. And he kept it in a certain cupboard, and every day he would take it out and brush it, put on the hat and brush the hat and everything. And he would look out the window and he would sigh that Moshe hadn't come so far this day. So there's a question as to how literally you take things. As a matter says the Rebbe, that's what you have to do every day. But he says there's a very special emphasis in this time where we are now, which is Chodesh Av. She'olav ne'emar שחורבן בית המקדש בחודש אב הוא על מנת שיבוא הקדוש ברוך הוא ויבנה את בית המקדש. Now what does that mean? There's a pasuk in Yirmiyahu which says that in the Chodesh Hari, in the called the month in which the mazolas, how do you say the signs of the months?
Zodiac.
Huh?
Zodiac.
Oh, the zodiac. Yeah. There's some word in English better than that, but I forgot. I forget my English. I talk so much Yiddish and Hebrew. I forget the words in English. But Alsatian.
Constellations.
Yeah, that's also. That's a bit posh, but anyway, yeah, the constellation or the zodiac or whatever of Chodesh Av is lion, Aryeh. And so the Yirmiyahu Hanavi says that Hashem is going to come in the month of Aryeh, and he's going to destroy Ariel. What Ariel is a name for the Beis HaMikdash, and it's a name particularly for the Mizbeach. The Mizbeach was, they had to call it the altar. The altar was called Ariel. That Hashem is going to come and destroy Ariel in the month of the Ari, Almanaz, in order that he should come and build the Ariel in the month of Ari. So it's a very clear statement in Yirmiyahu. Two main things that we need to know. Number one, that Hashem destroyed the Beis HaMikdash in the month of Aryeh. That everybody knows that's what happened. But he did it Almanaz. Now the word in Hebrew, Almanaz, means on the condition that. And also, Almanaz has got in the Gemara certain overtones to it, which means promptly and a very clear agreement that this is between them. So Hashem destroyed the Beis HaMikdash in order that he should rebuild it, meaning that the whole so-called Churban was only on a t'nai and on a condition that he's going to rebuild it. So why would he do that? Why would he destroy it and make a condition that he's going to rebuild it? So we have to say that there's some deeper dimension in the one he's going to rebuild, and therefore in order to reach that higher and greater dimension, he took away this one, but Almanaz, in order to give us the other one. That's what the Rebbe is referring to here. And there's a Medrash Tanchuma which learns out the whole thing, that the whole Churban was only on the condition that there's going to be an incomparably better rebuilding. And that's what he says now. Shiur Koribor, where we even as Beis Hamikdash, in the same month, in Chodesh Ari. V'lochein, noagim likoi, v'chodesh b'shem Menachem. The minhag is brought down in many Sforim that the minhag by Yidden is to call this month not Ov by its pure name, but to call it Menachem Ov, and to put not Av Menachem but Menachem Ov. In other words, to put the word Menachem before the Inyan and Ov, and that is Kedei Lahadgish, in order to stress Shekol Ma She'ira b'chodesh zeh Yisabei L'toiv Alidei Nechomasa Hageula. In other words, the Rebbe said, why do we call it Menachem Ov? Not just because we're using the concept of Nechoma against what was unpleasant in Ov, and we're saying, well, Hashem will give us, sometime or another, Hashem will give us comfort. No, we say Menachem Ov in order to stress that Nechoma of the Geula will come at the same time that the Churban occurred. And therefore we say Menachem Ov, that Menachem becomes like a Ikar, and is before even the word Ov. Kol Yamei HaChodesh, says the Rebbe, from amongst all the days of the month of Ov, Tisha B'Ov, the day of the 9th of Ov, Koshu Umatim B'Miyuchad L'Biyasa HaMashiach. He said the day of Tisha B'Ov is bound up, and it's very appropriate, especially in a very special way, to the coming of Mashiach. If forgive me, I get very weak in the throat. I'm just going to make a bracha. Mesupah, we are told. Mesupah means it is told. Ki b'yoyim boi nechor Beis Hamikdash. There's a famous story in the Medrash Rabbah in the Pesichta to Eicha Rabbasi. On the whole book of Eicha, there's a Medrash Rabbah, and that Medrash Rabbah has an opening, and it's called the Pesichta in Aramaic. And that itself is a huge, long Medrash with many, many things in it. The Pesicha, the introduction to the Medrash Eicha, would appear to me, as much as I can judge, it seems to be even longer than the actual Medrash Eicha itself. Very, very long, how do you call it, introduction. So over there, it's told like this, that a Yid was going, and all of a sudden, he heard, he was walking past the property of a goy, a non-Jew, and all of a sudden he heard the cow that was in the yard of the goy make a very big, like sort of, but a rather melancholy sound. So he stopped for a moment, and so the goy came over to him and he said, you guys, you Jewish guys, you're a write-off, So he said to him, why? He said, you should know that when this potter made that sound, your Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. You follow? Yeah. So the church there, he tries to take another couple of steps forward, away. Yeah? All of a sudden the potter makes another sound. So he turns to the guy and says, what's this time? What happened this time? So the guy says to him, he says, I'm on the losing side. He said, the Moshiach Shal Yisrael has been born. The one who's going to save the Jewish people from the whole thing, he's been born. And then there's a whole story after that he went further down the street in a small part of the town, and he met up with a lady who had a baby, and it was a whole miser. Like it turns out that was really Melech Mashiach. The baby she was holding was really Mashiach. And all of a sudden she disappeared, and he tried to find her. It's a whole amazing story over there. from that we see that Davka on Tisha B'Av, on the same moment that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, at that moment, Moshiach was born. The Rebbe said that's a very powerful plus in Tisha B'Av, a very extremely powerful plus about Tisha B'Av. So the Rebbe said, Goas Porosa shel Odom, Slicha, Goas Porosa shel Echad HaYehudim be'Eretz Yisrael Pamayim. I don't think that's right. I don't think it was one of the Jews. I think it was a non-Jew. Actually, his parent made the noise. But a Jew was the one who heard it. Kasher Shol HaYehudi Eshchena Hago. Oh, yeah, the Pesach over. Yeah, what's going on? Oneloi ki agi'ir b'pam rishoyin ahoyes ha'mechiven shenecho beis hamikdash. The first cowing of the cow, calling out of the cow because of the destruction of the beis hamikdash. Ve'ilu ha'shnio ahoyes ha'berega sheneilot melech ha'moshiach. Neilot Moshiach shel Yisrael. That's what's written over there. So the Rebbe says this is pretty powerful plus. Yodua, Shebiyem Hiladat Shel Odom, Mazole Greva, as for that on your birthday, then your Mazal, meaning the Shiur Shanishoma, the Maila is much stronger. There's a brought down in many Shvorim, and the Rebbe talks about it in reference to your birthday, where you should make a farbringen, where you should make good resolutions, take good decisions and everything on your birthday, because your Shiur Shanishoma is very strong on that day, and therefore it gives a lot of extra koyches. That's why it's a very special day in your life. So the Rebbe said, if Melech HaMashiach was born on Tisha B'Av, then it means that on Tisha B'Av the Mazal Shel Mashiach is in a very strong situation. So he said, Yedua Shebiyam Hilad Shel Odom Mazal Geiva. Yeah, his Mazal gets a lot stronger. Ve'im kein b'yem Tisha B'Av mishgab Mazal Shel Melech HaMashiach, meaning that the powers of Melech HaMashiach are even greater than they are normally. Elochein Oima HaArizal. Therefore, the Arizal, what it was his Yosef just a few days ago, Oimrim B'Tisha B'Av es Tfilas Nachri. That Davke on Tisha B'Av, in the late afternoon, by Mincha, we say a whole long piece before we say Boinei Yerushalayim. We say a whole long piece about comfort, all sorts of psukim. And we say Nachem Yerusha, Baruch Atah Hashem, Nachem Yerushalayim, Boinei
Menachem Tzion, Boinei Yerushalayim.
Oh, but you. As in Cain said in Yonim Shul, comfort, very strong comfort. So the Arizal asks, why do we do that? Now, what's the basis of the question? In order to understand the question of the Arizal, we just to give a bit of background information. And that's in the Gemara Masechta Tainus, right near the end. That is an opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says that if he would have been in the time of our sages, he would have made Tisha B'Av on the 10th of Av. He would have made the day of mourning on the 10th of Av, not the 9th. And he says, for which, because Enoch and they got into the actual area of the Beis Hamikdash on the 7th of Av, and then on the 8th and the 9th they were, doing also very, very unpleasant things. And on the 9th they began destroying the Beis Hamikdash. And in the late afternoon they lit a fire, which eventually, however, Rabbi Yochanan says that the main destruction occurred on the 10th day. And they only just lit the fire, which eventually burnt down the whole Beis Hamikdash on the 9th day. So, Im Kain, that follows what he said, that the nearer you get to the 10th day, the more you should be getting into their bells, and particularly that's when they lit the fires in the late afternoon on the 9th day. So the Gemara says, okay, why do we fast on Tisha B'Av? Why do we have to fast on Tisha B'Av? So the Gemara says, Aschalta to Paranusa Odiv Tvei, that the beginning of a punishment of something unpleasant is much harder than later on. In other words, since that began, even a few hours later, people already sort of, they're more accustomed to it. But the first hours, those are the most terrible. So since the fire was lit on Tisha B'Av, even though the worst destruction took place on the 10th, that's why we fast on the 9th. So it comes on the Rizal, and the Rizal says the minhag, but he brings down over there, it's in the Shiur it's brought down, that the Rizal says that on the afternoon of Tisha B'Av, we already get up and sit on the benches, and you already come in and people say psukim. It's a custom to read psukim of Nechama, and in Mincha we say this prayer, Nachem. So he said, according to the Gemara, that's when things were getting really bad. We should be making the Avelas a lot more. Yet we make it a lot less as the afternoon goes on. It gets light. Says the Arizal, an amazing thing, which doesn't appear to be LP Kabbalah. All that the Arizal writes in the Shiur is usually very high stuff. And here what the Arizal says is that since at that moment, that's when Moshiach was born, that his inyan is Menachem. And the Arizal writes over there, Peter Kloyes, Sheshmoi Shal Moshiach Menachem.
No.
Oh, I would have thought somebody would fall off his chair. Something would happen. Everybody's very calm. But that's what he writes over there, the Arizal. Sheshmoi Shal Moshiach Menachem. The Rebbe's name is Menachem.
Oh.
Anyway, whatever. That's what the Arizal writes, and therefore he writes that that's why we say in the late afternoon. That's why we say because that was when Mashiach was. That's when Mashiach was born. So the Rebbe says, "Mailas niflo sailu, yeah hakayom is b'chol Tisha B'Av, but these gewaltige mailas that at that moment Mashiach was born, yeah, and all that implies that his muzzle is goiva." He said that's there on every Tisha B'Av, but he said, "Einam nidchos kamuvan." Gam kasher Tisha B'Av chal b'Shabbat k'mei b'Shana. So what is the Rebbe implying with this deal that he's making here? This year we keep Shabbos on Tisha B'Av. There's no fasting, no Tisha B'Av this Shabbos, even though it's Tisha B'Av. So what happens is that we push the Tisha B'Av until Sunday. Yeah. So the Rebbe said, Imkain, if you push the Tisha B'Av off, then that would imply that you push everything off. Everything which represents Tisha B'Av, you push it off till Sunday. So the Rebbe said, no, he doesn't agree with that. What you do is that the unpleasant things, which are not to Shabbos, those you put off. Over the positive matters, Shabbos emphasizes them even more. So he said the positive fact of Tisha B'Av is that Mashiach was born. So he said that's not pushed off on Shabbat. That's not pushed off. What's pushed off is the unpleasant aspect of the actual fact of Mashiach is born. On Tisha B'Av, that remains on Shabbos, and it even gets a bigger significance due to the power of Shabbat. That's the inyan, that's the point that the Rebbe is making. So he said, Mailas niflo, he said there in any issue, Einam nidchais, yeah, kamuvan, gam kasher Tisha B'Av, yeah, chal b'Shabbos, k'mei b'Shana. The good things don't get pushed off. Lahiva, rachat tzom v'tainis nidochim. Oh, it said only the how do you call it, the self-affliction and the fasting, that is pushed off on Shabbat. On the actual day of Tisha B'Av, Shechal b'Shabbos, like it is this year, Nishorim, yeah, Rachamaylas, then only the good things remain, and the bad things get pushed off. It comes days that when it happens on Shabbos, yeah, we get the good things in a very high way, and then we get them the day after on the fast also. So how do you call it? you didn't know when Tisha B'Av falls on Shabbos, you didn't know what you would call two-time winners. And I said, we win all the miles of Tisha B'Av on Tisha B'Av, on Shabbos. All the unpleasant things, they keep it all till Sunday. And then you get on Sunday also the miles. Yeah? So that's the point that I was making. So he said, "V'ilu Tisha B'Av atzma shechal b'Shabbos nishorim rachamailas leidas HaMashiach b'yom zeh." So he said, the biggest of all the milas is that Mashiach was born on this day. He said, "Ma gam sheShabbos Tisha B'Av nikra b'shem Shabbos Chazon." So the Rebbe said even more than that, od yoter. Ma gam is like in Hebrew, od yoter. Shabbos Tisha B'Av is called Shabbos Chazon. Now the simple reason for that is that the Haftorah, which is from the first chapter of Yeshayahu, begins with the word Chazon. Chazon L'Yeshayahu, so it's a custom to call it Shabbos Chazon on the word of the Haftorah of Yeshayahu. However, it comes along Chassidus, and the Rebbe is going to mention it now. Chassidus teaches us that every name which is given to something has a deep significance. So the word chazon means to see. The word chazon is a vision. And a vision means something that you see. So the Rebbe says in Cain, Tisha B'Av, which falls on Shabbos, is called, like all Shabbos in the, before Tisha B'Av, it's called Shabbos Chazon. He said, "Of Shabbos zu marim lekol echad es beis hamikdash mirachok." And he said, on this Shabbos, they show to every Yid the beis hamikdash from a distance. Kach shalolei sofik gilu haMashiach mudgash b'miyuchad b'yom zeh. Therefore, said the Rebbe, if that's the case, then that's for sure that the revelation of Mashiach is very, very powerful on this day. Now, there's quite a bit of background to that statement, and I just want to give you from the Sikha and Baklal just a little bit of background. And I'm sure that you've probably heard about it, but it'll just remind you. And that is, everybody heard of a famous chassid called Rabbi Parashat. You all heard of him? Rabbi Parashat, he was a chassid of the Middle Rebbe, he wanted to be a chassid of the Alter Rebbe, but didn't meet the Alter Rebbe. It's a whole amazing story. And he became a chassid of the Middle Rebbe and the Tzemach because he lived to a very old age, Rabbi Parashat. So once Rabbi Parashat was traveling around, because the Tzemach Tzedek told him he should travel from place to place, and he should say chassidus, tell people that the message of chassidus. So one of his journeys, he came into a town, and he heard in this town that the Baditcheva, Levi Yitzchak Baditcheva, who was the Alter Rebbe's great friend, and I told him to the Maggid, he had been in that town years before. If he'd been there on a visit, because Reb Bill was quite a long time after Levi Yitzchak Baditcheva. So he heard from these people that the Baditcheva had been in this town. So he asked one of the leaders of the town, did they remember its award from the Baditcheva? So they said, oh yes, we remember a word from the Baditcheva. And he said, what was it? He said that the Baditcheva said that why is the Shabbos before Tisha B'Av, or the Shabbos which occurs Tisha B'Av, why is it called Shabbos Chazon? Yeah, it's called the Shabbos of the vision. On that day, the Eibishter showed every Yid, Miravai, from a distance, the Beis HaMikdash. Every Yid has the ability on that day to see the Beis HaMikdash, Mirachok. So I asked the Shabbos, why from Rachok? If we have close-up vision, what would be the problem? Why Mirachok? So there's a whole marshal in the story. I don't know if you guys are familiar. The whole marshal that the Baditcheva said, the marshal to a father who had a son, an only son that he really loved him, and he bought him a beautiful suit. You know the story. And he bought him a beautiful suit, And he said, listen, I'm giving you the suit, but on the condition that you look after it and you keep it clean. He said, okay, sure. And so he gives him the suit, and after a while he didn't keep the condition, and the suit got dirty, so the father took the suit away from him. And then the son was very upset, and he decided he would do a lot of bettering of himself, what we call Shiur. And when the father saw that, he said, okay, you know what, I'll give you back the suit. You must look after it very carefully. So of course he promised, and the same basic story reoccurred, that he made the suit dirty, and the father took the suit away from him. And now he holds the suit at a distance from the son. And he said, if you will really improve, and it'll become like your nature. It's a very amazing deal. I'm not going into that now. But it said it'll become like your nature, that you want to do only good, then I will give you back the suit. But every now and then, to give the son a lot of motivation, he shows him the suit from a distance. But he actually does see the suit. He sees it. So he said, that's Chabad Tsfat. Chabad Tsfat is the Eibusher showing us the Beis Hamikdash miracle. He's showing us the suit, but he's keeping it a bit at a distance. So the intelligent reader asks the question, what's the connection between a suit and the Beis Hamikdash? A suit is a lavush. That's a garment. The Beis Hamikdash is a bayis. As Fortan says, a bayis is a bigger makir than a lavush. A makir means an all-enveloping bayis. And a lavush is much closer to you. It's also a makir. That's what we call a makifa, a karot. And the Beis Hamikdash is a makifa, a rachot. Why did he change and give the marshal on a close lavush for the distant lavush? So the Rebbe says in a place that the Indian is that you've got to bring about through your service of Hashem. You've got to be poiled that the makifa rachot will become close to you. In other words, you've got to be so into things that the more distant makifa becomes to you like a suit. Yeah, in other words, that you will bring the makifa, the Beis Hamikdash, and you'll be very familiar with it, like it was a makifa, a karot. Now, I haven't finished yet.
Yeah.
And the Rebbe brings in a footnote, a most amazing thing. And I must admit that I didn't quite know this part. I knew the story, but I didn't know this detail. What is that? That you know that on Tisha B'Av in the morning, the Rebbe Rashab used to put on tefillin. You know that? Yeah. The Rebbe Rashab used to put on tefillin, just like he put them on for a while, and then he would take them off after a certain time. And then to Mincha, he would put them on like all. He'd come out and he would down and put his towels on. Before he put on the tefillin, the Rebbe brings down that he also put on his talis. He would put on a talis, be in it for a while and wrap himself in the talis, and then he would take the talis off. Tisha B'Av, in the morning. So I asked myself the question, why would he put on the talis and take it over with him? What's that got to do with it? So the Rebbe says an amazing thing. Really, today that you guys should hear it. The Rebbe said that's a connection with the story about the lavush. That the Rebbe was putting on a lavush, not a suit, but he put on a talis. That's a Yiddish suit. A Jewish suit is a talis. He would put on the talis to show that the Beis Hamikdash is becoming like a lavush. As him came, if the Beis Hamikdash is becoming like a lavush, the Evish can already bring Moshe. That is one.
Put on mincha.
That is great, Shakadosh. That's what the Rebbe brings in a big footnote. And I said, I always told it on the store. I knew that the Rebbe Rashab used to put on tefillin. That's one of them. I know all of it, but this part I didn't know. I didn't know that he used to put on a towel, wrap himself in, and then take it off. So the Rebbe says that's the pshat.
Why the film?
Oh. So some people say, I heard from Rav Landa that the reason was that he just couldn't pass the morning through without putting it through. Just wasn't sharp. He wasn't able to do it. That's a simple pshat. But what the Rebbe would say about that, I don't quite know. But him, yeah. But him, yeah. Anyway, whatever. So, says the Rebbe, what happens on Tisha B'Av is all sorts of positive things are happening. Shabbat Chazon, we see the Beis HaMikdash. So therefore the Rebbe said, if that's the case, then there's no doubt that Moshiach is very powerful on Tisha B'Av. ניתן לירז את הדגושת הגאולה בעודה, שבשבת תשעה באב לא רק שלא מציינים בו. So the Rebbe said you can see there's this very special emphasis on the geula, that when Shabbos comes out, Tisha B'Av, not only we don't fast, yeah, ela af mitzvah le'aneg as a Shabbos b'chila v'shtia. It's a mitzvah that you should have all your pleasure just like any other Shabbos, and even more the Rebbe is going to say, on Tisha B'Av that comes out, Shabbos. In other words, not only you don't fast, but you have to eat with the big tainug and big yishma in achila ushti. So he says, Kalema, lo yizu b'vad shadvorim ashliliyim sheyeshnam b'tisha b'av nidochim. It's not only the unpleasant things like fasting and self-affliction are being pushed away, אלא אדרבה, יש מצווה לשמוע באכילת בשר שומעים ובשתיית יין יושם. The Rebbe said you have to make sure that you eat the best. Eat the best, how do you call it, fat meat, and you drink old wine, not young wine. You have to drink wine, really top notch. Tisha B'Av, there's Shechal B'Shabbat. And even more than that, it's a filet de Kazar that is brought down, and we eat the third Suda, which is called the Suda Mafseka. We eat the Suda before coming into, we're going to have to eat that on Shabbos as well. So the Rebbe brings down, it's written in the Shulchan Aruch of the Beis Yosef. We don't have the altar of Shulchan Aruch on these halachos. But it's written in the Shulchan Aruch of the Beis Yosef that when you eat that Suda on Shabbos, just before going into Tisha B'Av, you're allowed to put up on your table all the things that Shlomo HaMelech had at the height of his kingship whenever he ate a Suda. You're allowed, and you should make an effort to put all those type of things on your, you had to put all those things on your table in the last Suda. Now, a normal Suda Mafsek is on Tisha B'Av. What do you usually do? A normal Suda Mafsek is on Tisha B'Av.
Ashes, stool.
Oh, you can't eat this, you can only eat some piece of bread and you have to dip it in ash and you face it with, and you don't have to eat more than 2 tapshilim, and you have to sit on the ground, and afterward you have your rubber shoes on. It's all about. And here on Shabbos, you eat that sort of like Shlomo HaMelech. And not only you're allowed, but you should make an effort to do that. That's what the Rebbe brings.
We do this now?
Yeah. So there is a similar kaki. What's the point of all this? He said, "V'kivan sheyom tzom ubepnimiyusay yoim rotzein lashem." Yeah, it's put down in Yirmiyahu. No, with the lashon that is the tzom of choreihu. The aim of what day of fast am I going to choose? A day when a person will afflict himself, but it becomes a yom rotzen leha Shem. How do you call it? A day of will and auguriousness to the Eibishter, which means on a fast day, it's really a day of how do you call it? Will and augury on the part of the Eibishter. In other words, the fast is only to bring you to this deeper connection with Hashem. So the Rebbe said that's for sure, that part of the fast, which is Pnimia, really a Yom Rotzen, on a day, on a Shabbos when Tisha B'Av comes out Shabbos, that for sure is coming into Revelation. And therefore, when the Moshiach will come, Yehovchu Yomim Elu Liyamei Sosam V'Simcha. So what's the Rebbe's point? Something which is essentially bad, you can't make it good. And when Moshiach will come, if it's essentially bad, then we're going to chuck it out. How is it that these fasts, when Moshiach will come, they get turned over into Sosam V'Simcha? Is there something that really deep inside, there's something very great about them, and that's going to be revealed when Moshiach will come. And that's what Novi means, that it's a Yom Rotzen Leha Hashem, it's a day of auguriousness to the Eibishter. That's the Pnimis of the Tzom. And therefore, when Moshiach will come, that auguriousness is going to turn into Sosem B'Simcha. Elochein, Lamreshi B'Zman Hazeh Adayin Tzomim B'Tisha B'Av. Therefore, the Rebbe, in this particular time, despite the fact in our period, which Moshiach hasn't yet come, we still fast on Tisha B'Av. I will say, Rabbi Amesa Achel, that's only in the days of the week. He said, Ve'iro kasher chal yom zeh b'Shabbat, or when Tisha B'Av falls out on Shabbos, azay nidachim kol ha'inuyim, all the afflictions are pushed off, to the day after. But b'Shabbos atzma, nisha avra ha'toiv apinim shebiyom zeh. Only the good part of it, the Yom Rotzen, Hashem, that's left over. In other words, the unfortunate part of it, that's pushed away. Over the really Pnimius and good part of it, that remains over. And that links up with the fact that it's the birthday of Moshiach. Because since it's really a very augurous day, these two factors are linked together. So therefore he says, Oz nitochen kol ha'inuyim l'macharash v'Shabbos atzmai nisha avarach ha'toiv apnim shebiyom zeh v'ha'toiv hazeh mudyash b'miyurad b'sudah shlishiyah. On the third sudah, but anyway the Rebbe says, even on an ordinary Shabbos, sudah shlishiyah is a very big time, as is well known. It's a very elevated time. Shekashula ge'ula which means when you eat that Suda before Motzei Shabbat, and you're eating the Suda, it's called a Suda Mafseket, you're really eating a Suda which is leading you and giving you the lead in to the Gula Shlema and to the Binyan Beisa Amidish, because that's the Pnimius. And the Pnimius is, on the contrary, in emphasis on a day like that, not in a state of healing. And what has happened is that the fact that it comes out on Shabbos has pushed away the difficult and unpleasant things of the fast, and the good thing is it brought them out and made them, with the koyach of the kedusha of Shabbos, it's made them very elevated. So therefore, we begin to get an amazing picture of what this Shabbos implies to us. Now the Rebbe says a thing which, just forget it. The Rebbe says an amazing Shabbos. And he said, if you make a cheshbon, what comes out is that Shabbos is the 9th day of all. This Shabbos, the 9th day of all. And Sunday is the 10th day of all. Right? Which means that you're eating on the 9th day and you're fasting on the 10th day. When do you do that? Another time in the year, every year. Oh, very nice. On Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur you eat on the 9th day and you fast on the 10th day. Now, that's exactly what's happening now. We're going to be eating on the 9th day, yeah, but we're going to be fasting on the 10th day. So the Rebbe says in Ken, there seems to be some similarity here to Yom Kippurim. So the Rebbe said that's exactly the case. There is a similarity. So let's get working to find what the similarity is all about. על זמן כזה, בוי אויקלה ושייסים בשבס תשעיהו באב, ואילו הצועים נדחה למחרס, ניתן בהחלט להמליץ את המים החכמים בנוגע ליום כיפר. We can bring in here and we can recommend the statement of our sages also about Yom Kippur. What do they say? Kol ha'echel v'shoisa b'tishihi. Everybody who fasts on the, everybody who eats and drinks on the 9th, Ma'ale alova kosu, the verse considers him ki ilu hisana tishihi ve'asiri. The Gemara Masechta Yoma, the Alter brings it down, Shulchan Aruch, the whole lesson of the Gemara, which means it's a very key issue, that if you eat a lot on the 9th of Tishrei, then it's like as if you fasted on the 9th and the 10th. Now I ask you, does that make any sense? You filled up your tummy very capably on the 9th, and we say, no, that's clearly you fasted on the 9th and the 10th. Anyway, what does that mean? That the eating on the 9th is a very rare sort of eating. It's an eating which is like as if you weren't eating. It's an eating which the Torah considers as if you are fasting, which means that it's a very spiritual and elevated type of eating, a very special type of eating on the 9th. So the Rebbe says that let's take the same picture here that you're eating on the 9th, and that's a very special type of eating, here that you fasted both on the 9th and the 10th. But that will only make sense if we can find a similarity between Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur. So he said, well, we'll find it without any problem. So he says, Bichlal, Tisha B'Av kosher liyom kippurim b'ayom miyuchad. He said, generally speaking, Tisha B'Av has got a connection with Yom Kippur in very special ways. Shekain, hey matzoim es hayechidim hamaschilim me'alayla shelifnei, gam, me'alayla shelifnei. He said there's only 2 fasts in the whole year, with all the fasts that didn't fast. There's only 2 fasts where they begin in the night time and fast the whole 24 hours. Yeah, what are they? Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is, and here the Rebbe makes a very amazing point, that there's a klal in the Gemara that whenever the Rabbanan want to decree a certain decree, then they look in the Torah first, and they find a inyan in the Torah, and then they make this decree that they're doing similar to what the inyan is in the Torah. So therefore, since they wanted to make a very special fast on the day of the destruction of the temple, different than other fasts, what did they do? They looked at Yom Kippur. And they found in Yom Kippur that the Torah says, when you really want to make a very special fast, then you fast both night and day. So since we want this to be a very miyuchad, an individual fast, so then we have to fast both night and day. So the Rebbe said it makes sense to say that the extent of Yom Kippur, the extent of Tisha B'Av, and the power of its interrelationship of day and night being exactly the same chumrah, and even more than that, it's pointed out in the Gemara that what's called Bein HaShmashot. Do you know what Bein HaShmashot is? Twilight. Once you've passed the going down of the sun, but it's not yet nighttime 100%, that's called in the Gemara Bein HaShmashot. And that's called Sofik Yom, Sofik Laila. We're not sure, is it day or is it night? And since we're not sure, then we have to be strict about it. And so on Shabbos, for example, Bein HaShmashot is already, you have to be very strict, because it's already leading into Shabbos. So same with Yom Kippur, Bein Hashmoshes on Yom Kippur you're not allowed to eat. Yeah, because of the greatness of the fast. The same on Tisha B'Av. Once you've gone past the Shkia, on Erev Tisha B'Av you can't eat anymore. And that we see that Yom Kippur and Tisha B'Av have all sorts of halakhic similarities. And that's because there's a klal in the Gemara that called tikkun, the Rabbanan, ke'ein dairaisa tikkun. It's a klal. Since they did it like the Torah, that's why it came out, which means that Yom Kippur and Tisha B'Av have a very close connection. So he said that's in the halakhic aspect. So the Rabbi said, Gam mahusis aim doing. Also in their essence, in their inner message, they're also comparable. Holochain, Nema, Loihoyu Yomim Teivu Yisrael, Kechamisha also Ba'ol, Ukayim Kippurim. Alusha Nema is a little bit funny because that's not a posik, that's a Mishnah. That's the last Mishnah in Masechta Tiny, in the tractate of the Tiny. At the end, the Mishnah says that there were not, how do you call it, festivals, festival days for the Jewish people, like Chamisha, also Ba'ol, and Yom Kippurim. And it says on those days, the Bnei Yisrael used to go out into the Kromim, and they used to dance in white clothes, and they used to lend their clothes one to the other, so somebody who didn't have wouldn't feel bad with the whole Maisa. They used to go out and dance, and then there used to be Shidduchim and all sorts of Maisa. So the Rebbe said, Lefizeh, Chamisha, also B'Av, and Yom Kippur are compared. And on the contrary, Chamisha, also B'Av is put first, and then after that Yom Kippur. That's the statement of the Mishnah. So the point that the Rebbe is making is like this. What's Chamisha also B'Av got to do with Tisha B'Av? So it's brought down in the Gemara, right near the end of Masechta Tainis. It's brought down that one of the reasons why we keep a yontav on Chamisha also B'Av is because all the people in the that used to die in the desert because of the Gezerah Samaragim, they stopped dying on Chamisha also B'Av. But there's a famous Tosfos over there. What Tosfos says, and also it's mashma in the Gemara, that at that particular year there was a lot of cloudiness, and they weren't sure what day was really Tisha B'Av, and there's a whole confusion what day it actually was, because of it was very, very cloudy. However, by the time it came to Chamisha B'Av, they were able to know and work out how many days there'd been. Well, they knew when the people stopped dying. That for sure they knew. Yeah, the people got out of the graves, you know, the whole story. And they didn't pass away. So they saw that happened on Tisha B'Av. That the stopping of the people dying happened on Tisha B'Av. And when did they know about it? Finally, on Chamisha B'Av. Which means it didn't happen on Chamisha B'Av, it happened on Tisha B'Av. And Chamisha B'Av was just like the perfect knowledge of what had occurred on Tisha B'Av. Yeah? So the Rebbe says, Im Kain, Chamisha B'Av is like the knowing of a good thing that happened on Tisha B'Av. It's like connected, it's like a perfection of Tisha B'Av. So Im Kain, Chamisha B'Av is like a perfection follow-up from Tisha B'Av, which means that when we say that Chamisha B'Av and Yom Kippur are similar, we really mean in Pnimius the Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur have a connection. So we see once again, Shekheini said B'tu B'Av, Mishgala HaToiv Shebetisha B'Av. That's the story that I just mentioned. That the good thing that happened on Tisha B'Av came out to be known on Tu B'Av. ואם יהיה עם ישראל יחויזה בחזורה מהמצב השופל של תשעה באב. Yes, and the Eden came away from what every year was not a good thing, and something good happened on that Tisha B'Av. Shekein Tisha B'Av, Mahava Yoyim Esper B'Tainus B'Zman HaGola. He said, Koloi, the Mashiach hasn't come, then Tisha B'Av is a day of mourning and of fasting. He said, but that's only in the Golus. ואילו טוביו ולאילו חמישה עשר באוב, הכושר לגאולה השלימה. They put down a still that Tuvah has got to do with the Geula Shlema. Megala is a Tuvah Pnimi Shebetisha B'Av. Oh, so the Rebbe is pointed like this, just like in the Midbar. The Chamish also told me that people really stopped dying on Tisha B'Av. That revealed the good thing about Tisha B'Av. So he says nowadays, Chamish also reveals to us that really Tisha B'Av has got to do with the Geula Shlema. Because Chamish also it reveals to us that really Tisha B'Av has also got to do with the Geula Shlema, which means that Chamish also and Tisha B'Av have a deep inner connection together, which means that they also have a kesher with Yom Kippur, because it's written in the Mishnah that they're similar Yom Tov to Yom Kippur, which means that Tisha B'Av has got to do with Yom Kippur. That's in the Pneumius. Im Kain, Kam Tisha B'Av kosher Yom Kippur. Im Kain, it's got a kesher with Yom Kippur. Yeah, right, he said, it's just that in the time of the Golas, in the weekdays, that's hidden. He said, on Yom Shabbos, when it comes out Shabbos reveals that and shows how in a deep inner Mahus fashion, Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur have got a connection. They have a link together. Well, okay. And therefore, by eating and drinking a lot on Tisha B'Av, which comes out on Shabbos, the bench goes up, he gets an aliyah from that. He gets an elevation just like he does on Yom Kippurim. He's got that madriga on there of Yom Kippur that he's like eating, and yet nonetheless it's a very elevated eating like Yom Kippur. Right? The Rebbe says an amazing thing. He said, we're sitting now, and it was Tisha B'Av, Shabbos Tisha B'Av. By the way, they never saw the Rebbe eat his meat and drink it with all this one. Even on Shabbos Tisha B'Av. He spoke about it, he encouraged it, and he said everybody has to do it. Although he himself, they don't know what he ate on Shabbos. Because he forgot it quite late, and then he went up to his office, and not only late in the day, he went home. So how much could he eat? How much could he really eat? But he spoke to all the sitters, they have to eat Basa Shomer, they have to drink the best wine.
So,
No, you guys, you gotta be able to take a joke.
no, he didn't eat it really.
So, says the Rebbe, it comes out that by eating and drinking a lot on Shabbos Tisha B'Av, then you're like Erev Yom Kippur. It's like as if you're fasting 2 days. He said, Rak, Shekivan Mashiach Magia. Oh, no, this is what the Rebbe means. So the Rebbe said, I was there once in Toshin Mem Dalet, on Yud Beis Tammuz. I heard the Rebbe say the same thing. But the Rebbe said that we're not going to have that Maila. He said, because that's talking about it, eat on the 9th in order to fast on Yom Kippur, which is the 10th. But the Rebbe said here, we're eating on the 9th, but we're not going to fast on the 10th.
Yeah,
So how does that work? We're not going to fast on the 10th. Mashiach is going to walk in right now. That's what the Rebbe said. That's what he says here. Mashiach is coming right now. It's on his meaning on Sunday. We're going to be 3-time winners. We're going to eat and drink on both days, and we're going to have the mile that the fast has become bottled. Yeah. Come on, you guys. That's really unbelievable. So he said, Gam Aruda, Shiyom Kippurim, Asiri V'Tishrei. He said also the fact that Yom Kippur, which is the 10th of Tishrei, in Keroshim Akosu Achas Pashona, it's called in Pasha Emoyer, in Sefer Vayikra, the one time of the whole year, Achas Pashona, the one moment of the whole year, Mishkash Lekach, Sha'asiri Ba'ov, Yohu Gamhu Ba'achas B'shuv. So the Rebbe said it's interesting that when we fast on Sunday, that is the first day of the week. And he said, Akashurim Yomer Echad. That's got a connection with Yom Echad. What does he mean with that? It's put down on Sunday in the Shiur Shemay Braces by Yera Vayiboika Yom Echad. It's put down in the middle. Rashi brings it down. Shakorish Baruch Oya Ba'isa Hayom Yochid Ba'ilom. Hashem was still like how to call it, one and only in the creation. All that happened wasn't the light of being created. The face of it was still recognizable that he was the one and only. Hashem Yochid Ba'ilom, and that's Hashem Echad. So that happens on Yom Kippur. What happens in Yom Kippur? That's a one moment of the whole year, and then you see how Hashem is Yom. You see how Hashem is one. The Tachlis in the whole creation. So the Rebbe said that happened especially on Sunday. And on Sunday, that's the first day, and that was the day when Hashem is Echad Be'elomi. So therefore there's a similarity. When you fast on Sunday, there's a special similarity to Yom Kippur.
That's it.
So you see how it all ties together. And Derech Hagav, the Rebbe once said that that's, well, it's not Derech Hagav, it's very important. That's one of the reasons why the Rebbe used to give out dollars on Sunday day. He used to give out on Sunday, because Sunday is Yom Echad, and it's the beginning of all the days of the week. And then you got the Kodesh Baruch Yochid Be'ilomai, with all the milas at the beginning. So we learned last night in a man of Siddur here that the first day of the week is connected with Chesed. And Chesed is the first of all the midas to be revealed in the Olam Hatzir. And it's called the beginning of all the midas, and it accompanies all the midas. It's sort of, how do you call it, Malaver, it accompanies all the other midas. It's also a very powerful day, Sunday, but that's the Gilui of the Midas HaChesed, and that's like the main governing factor of all the other midas. Yeah. And the Rebbe once said that that's some of the reasons why he gives out the dollars on Sunday. Yeah. Apart from the fact that there was another simple reason, that it's a day of rest over there in America, so people got that. But that's just, you know, how to go to continue.
So,
I can't turn around, my back is very stiff.
9:25.
9:25. Okay, so, listen, what I'll do is just give you a quick fill-in on some of the main points that I brought. This is the most amazing sikha. However, the Rebbe said that in this week's Parashat, and all the three Parashas which are read during the 3 weeks, it all talks about Eretz Yisrael, and it all talks about the dividing up of Eretz Yisrael in each of the 3 Parashas. In Parashat Pinchas, it tells how the whole Eretz Yisrael was divided up. In Parashat Mates, it mentions the whole of the dividing up to the tribes of Eretz Yisrael. And in Parashat Maaseh, it tells us all the borders, exactly where all the borders were, and so on and so forth. And then in this week's Parashat, it mentions the whole story of Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuben, how they were given their portion. Moshe Rabbeinu gave them their portion. And also, Moshe Rabbeinu says that he's only giving them their portion, or all the other tribes are going to go over into Eretz Yisrael get their portions. So it also mentions the giving of Eretz Yisrael and the dividing of Eretz Yisrael. So the Rebbe said, therefore, the 3 weeks show you that the whole inyan of our kesher with Eretz Yisrael is, how do you say, like a yo-yo, how do you call it? That you send Eretz Yisrael away, but you really are, you're holding on to it very tightly. It's only just gone up like out into the distance, but you're pulling it back in. You never lost Eretz Yisrael. We're all the time repeating over, how we're dividing up Eretz Yisrael. So what does the Rebbe connect that with? So that's a bit hard for you guys, but we learned it about 5 times already. But the Tzemach said to a Yid that he wanted to come to Eretz Yisrael, that you have to make here in the Golus Eretz Yisrael. In other words, the Torah talks so much about the dividing up of Eretz Yisrael, then the Eitzah is to make Eretz Yisrael where you are, and build up the Gula Shlema in your Eretz Yisrael. Make sure that your piece of Eretz Yisrael is ready for the Gula Shlema. Take them miyad akshor. And in addition, just by the way, the Rebbe says in this whole Sikha Parichas towards the end, he told people over the last few years to make siyumim during the 9 days. And there he says that's not enough. He said you have to keep making siyumim until Chamish Osabov, until the 15th of Av, including, and you have to make siyum, and you have to invite people, you have to give them all sorts of good food, and after Tisha B'Av you can give them meat also if you want. You have to keep making siyumim until further notice, and the Rebbe said that's going to bring the siyum of the Golas. That'll be the siyum on the Golas, and the beginning of the Geula Shalema, taking me out now. Chayim. So how do they say?